We're telling your followers. Okay, there they are. All right. Oh. Come join me, my friend.
Yeah.
What's up, Butt Sniff?
Number 5.
It is.
And we're live.
Episode 5.
And we're not Jerry.
What'd you say?
And we're not Jerry. 5 Alive. Wasn't that his like team name for one of the Bass tournaments?
Jerry Mayhew?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you know that Jerry Mayhew was the FBAOI?
Oh yeah.
The first black angler of the year?
It's true. It's a true
We
story.
told him that he was busting up
liked
because
it.
he's all leathery and tan and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys know. Well, what's up? How have you been? Because I haven't seen you since the last fucking show. That's like
Which is
2
like 2
weeks
weeks.
ago.
I literally didn't talk to you since then.
That's
but
the
good.
longest time I've ever not talked to
Busy.
you.
Table tennis got sick.
Table tennis got sick,
Haven't
or
finished.
you got sick after table tennis?
No, I was just playing table tennis, but I got sick not because of it. But
So, before, I don't want to go into it too far because it's not a fucking table tennis show. But, like, do any, like, anglers out there, have you spoken to any of them? Are there other, like, avid psychopaths, or are you just kind of, like, in a next level on your own?
No, they actually, some people are pretty into it. Even like Solwell was like super into table tennis for a little while.
Yeah, but did he wear those fucking shorts?
I mean, he probably invented that Steez, I'm sure.
Just
just
chewing gum sticking out of the side of his freaking short leg.
Oh my gosh.
So you probably haven't fished since then?
No,
That's fucking terrible.
but I worked on fishing brands since then.
That's good.
That's always fun.
Yeah, you gotta provide.
Yeah.
The tetrafoil, that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah.
I've heard it called oil slick, Japanese beetle,
Yeah.
but Japanese abbreviated. Yeah, it works really well.
It's ridiculous.
I've been catching yellowtails on it.
Yeah.
I fished Catalina yesterday. We tried to go catch some sea bass. I was with Jacob and his dad. We pulled into a little spot and there was already a boat in there, and it's like one of those, Catalina, when you fish sea bass, there's like, it's one boat, a spot, that's it,
Yeah.
But it looked like where they were set up, they were kind of set up maybe a little off the spot. The current was swinging uphill and they were kind of swinging out to sea a little bit, and I thought we could get in and sit right. And we slid in and dropped the anchor, and they seemed like they were cool with what was going on. And then I kept looking over at the boat, and I'm like, this guy looks familiar, this guy looks familiar. And they didn't like tell us to go fuck ourselves, and they weren't like spitting at us, because we could have like literally lobbed a fucking squid onto their deck, you know? And it was George Sagan. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't.
I went to high school with him and his brother Jason, but they're really good guys. And he goes to performance tackle all the time.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's like one of us. And he was cool. And so they were already on the spot, and once we established that we knew each other and we were friends, like, it was all good. It was like, fuck yeah, right on.
Yeah.
I hope you guys get him. And he was like, well, fuck, we were just about to pull the pick and go in there where you guys just set up, but all good. And then lo and behold, they lit him up right in front of us. They caught some sea bass, and then they probably had like, I don't know, close to 20 yellows. And we had a handful, but they deserved it. They were there first, and that was their spot, and we were stoked for them, and it would have kind of sucked if it was the other way around. Like, we pulled in, started getting bit, hung a sea bass in their face, so.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Something looks good in the water.
Yeah, exactly. So since you haven't been fishing, and I have, I can tell you I fished Sand V.
Yeah.
Fishes a lot like Barrett. I mean, it looks...
The green bass, right?
Yeah, it looks very similar to Barrett with like the rocky shoreline and the brush piles and all that stuff. Is that Dirty Diana?
Oh, she's here.
All right. Special guest tonight, guys. You thought it was going to be Ben Secrest. It's Dirty Diana.
Cameras live. Hi, everybody. Hello.
Hi, what's up? How are you? Don't trip.
Good, how are you?
All right, cool.
Just did this all day, so I won't trip.
Oh, really? What do you do?
Oh, I make things, so we just did a product shot for the last
that's
6 hours.
Okay, well, you escaped there. I didn't have anything witty to say, so.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Justin, ready in.
My name's Ben.
There
you go.
There you go.
Yes, that's so cool. So that's what this show's all about.
That's good.
Cool, thanks. We appreciate it. Hopefully our viewers like it.
Join in. Instagram Live.
Yeah. She's like, what?
Nice.
April 11th, tickets go on sale.
Oh, Barrett.
Barrett.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barrett.
Let's go.
Yeah, so anybody out there that, well, probably most people out there that enjoy freshwater fishing, I think Randy and I are going to do an episode soon where we just talk about freshwater, like unsalted bass adventures we've been on. We have some good stories that I think you'll find entertaining, including one where we got away from a police helicopter,
We had to hide in
which
the
was
bush.
fucking
the bush.
tight.
Hide
We
behind
were
signs,
fucking
lights.
invisible.
It was pretty fun.
But we'll save that for another night because there's some really good details.
You can run fast.
At that point, I could,
Oh,
but
no way.
you know what's funny? I think back now, and I was thinking about this. You looked like back then you were sleeping with someone that owned a donut shop.
I probably.
you were like
What do you
thick.
mean?
You were like thick, like you've been eating donuts
Oh,
and like
I know.
sleeping with a woman who made donuts.
Oh yeah,
Hold
that
on,
makes sense.
when?
How about croissants?
This is like way before you.
It could be croissants maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah,
I feed him well.
yeah. That's cool. Yeah, no, if he wasn't skating, that's what it was. Neither of us were.
It's ridiculous.
We had office bod.
Yeah. I was hungover the night before.
Mm-hmm.
The night before, so.
So, and speaking of accurate reels,
Yeah, there's the segue.
there's our segue. Tonight's guest is Ben Secrest.
Ben.
That was about as smooth as I could think of.
That's pretty good.
What's
So,
up?
how are you?
Good, everything's good.
Thank you for joining us here tonight.
Yeah, no worries.
So now you're tech, Randy. How are we doing?
Looking good.
Yeah? We have any questions or anything before we get into this?
Not yet, I don't think.
Okay, good. I imagine viewership was going to be a little like staggered throughout the night because I kind of posted late and then I didn't share last week's episode and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, average viewership right now.
Good. All right, well,
Cool.
right on. So I had just walked down the street, bought some dinner, got some freaking liquid tweak, was waiting to cross the street to come back toward your house, and I said, "Go ahead," to a guy that was like cutting me off in the crosswalk. But then you guys looked back.
I thought you said hey or something like that.
Yeah, no. Then you guys looked back like, "Oh, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah,
what the fuck? I know these dudes."
yeah.
So there you were.
We just cruise through Santa Ana a lot. I hang out with Gary. This is homeland for him. He's a homie down here.
Yeah, you
It's
know.
good stuff. Right?
Yeah, Tate, come over here for a second, Gary. Just get in here real quick and just say hello. We have another guest, Gary Reyes from Reyes Swim Baits, another avid calico bass fisherman. Always
Yeah.
good to have people like him around. Good positive energy, creative energy, doing really cool stuff and helping people get bit.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
right?
Thanks, Gary.
So Ben, let's start from the very top.
Oh, jeez.
I know.
Are we gonna go back? Are we gonna get in the time machine and
We're
go
gonna
backwards?
go fucking into the wormhole, dude.
Okay,
Like
I got you.
fucking back in time. So, I feel like this fishing, surfing, skateboard thing that's going on right now with the youth, it's nothing new.
No, it's a circle.
Right?
It's a circle in time.
Right?
Everybody does the same thing.
Yeah. So when did that start for you? Because I feel like you were
Yeah.
doing that before.
It was a weird thing for me is that I grew up surfing in Redondo.
Okay.
So I grew up. My first waves were caught at Sapphire. I surfed Topaz, and then I started surfing PV. So I loved to surf, but my father was always an avid fisherman. So what he did is he would take me fishing like every weekend. So we'd go bass fishing at Canyon Lake. So I started fishing at Canyon Lake when I was like probably 4 or 5 years old. But prior to that, he used to take me fishing at the Bubble Hole in Redondo.
Okay.
So my love of fishing just like overwhelmed me, but surfing and fishing were the loves of my life. Like 74, I would say, 75, I hung out with a couple guys, and one of the guys was Jim Thomas, and he was a really good skater, and he skated pools, and I used to hang out with Kurt Lindgren and Brian Beardsley, which were professional skaters at the time, but the pool thing and all the parks wasn't going yet, so we were finding pools. It was just really weird because at Jim Thomas, I would go up to Santa Monica and hook up with Tony Alva and hook up with some of the other guys, and I got to see them skate the bunny pool, all that other stuff. And when that really started to take off is when I turned to surfing. So I had really bad knees from skating, so I got into surfing, and then once I got into surfing, my fishing for saltwater kept on progressing. And
Just hand in hand with the surfing.
yeah, it was hand in hand. But I'll tell you, one of the biggest focuses in my life that really helped me was Greg Stotesbury.
Okay. And how do you connect the dots on that? How does he come into your
So
life?
Stotes, I was a competitive surfer, surfing contests all over stuff, and Stotes would travel with me. But what we do is Stotes and I would go fishing for a weekend, and we'd fish one day and surf the next. So we'd drive down and fish Henshaw and go surf Leucadia, or drive down and fish CMB or whatever lake it was, but we were always surfing the opposite day, and we'd do the same wherever we were at. So the surfing and the fishing went back and forth until the surfing sort of took back seat because we got really heavily into fishing crawdads for largemouths. And once we started fishing crawdads for largemouths, and this is the precursor to the calico stuff.
Yeah.
Because we used to fish 8-pound and 12-pound all the time for largemouths, but we were fishing Maxima, which is like rope.
Yeah.
You could catch big fish. And Stoats and I were there when Ray Easley caught a 21-pounder at Casitas. I saw Porter Hall catch an 18-9. So I've seen all sorts of big fish. Stoats caught a whole bunch of big fish. You know, I was on the boat netting 13-pounders for him too. So the fishing side of it, we were real core on the fishing side. We were real core on the surfing side. We would fish from 6 a.m. till the lake closed every single time we went. Surfing was the same way, right?
Yeah.
So then what happened is they were all tripping because I was like, I'm going to go to college. And they were all laughing. They were going, you'll never go to college. I went away to college and got a degree, right?
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Chico State,
Okay.
which I fished full-time at Chico because there's salmon fishing, steelhead, bass. You're talking about your helicopter stuff. I used to run away from sheriffs like it was like I was speed racer then. I
Yeah.
weighed about 60 pounds lighter and I could really move to get out of there.
Right.
So
Right.
that whole thing went down, you know, and I got back from Chico, and Greg and I were, you know, the best friends, and he goes, there's an opportunity for you, and this is like 1986, I think he called me. He goes, there's an opportunity for you to go to work for AFCO. And I went in and interviewed with AFCO with Milt Shed and Bill Shed, and that was the start of me going into the fishing business. And I worked for one of the premier companies in the world that knew everybody, and because of that stepping stone, I got to fish all over the world. And one of the cool things with all that stuff was Stoats and I could not get off. We got off work at 3:30, and he kept on going. He goes, there's got to be more than the bay, because we used to fish bay tournaments with the Finwick guys all the time. And we'd place, and we'd have a nice time, but it was like, God, there's got to be something more. So I'll never forget the first day we went outside, and there's no one on the coast.
This is Newport.
This is Newport, fishing Corona Del Mar all the way down, all the way down to what we used to call Cactus Patch, which is a spot down towards Laguna. And I just remember getting reamed like 2 or 3 times because what are we fishing? 8 and 12-pound line.
Yeah, you're just bringing the
fresh water to there. So
you said this is like mid 80s, 86, 87.
No, that's like 88, 89.
Okay.
88, 89. And what we learned is both of us had small boats. I had a Gregor Baja 15-footer, and he had at that point, he had a bass boat. But we used to use my boat in the saltwater all the time, and I put a troll motor on the back of it. The first one, the troll motor was on the back, and then we moved to a troll motor on the front. But I just remember we'd get off of work at 3:30 every day, and we'd run down to go fishing every afternoon, and people would just go, you guys are nuts. But people didn't know what we were doing. And once we figured out, the big thing was the tackle. We figured out, hey, we need heavier rods, so we went to musky rods. We need bigger reels, so we fished ABU 5500s in the very beginning and 6500s. And once we figured out 17-pound was probably the line we wanted to use, we caught a lot of really big fish doing that. But I got to come back and be honest, like, even the fishing at the islands is not like it used to be.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were fishing coasts that never saw a swim bait. Because we didn't even know what swim baits were. We had no clue what a swim bait was. And Dave Pfeiffer showed Greg, and Greg brought one home, and he goes, this is a Worm King. And I was like, what does it do? How does it work? Because we were using Ranowski shads, twin tails, and grubs. And we were getting all our stuff from Butch Chapman, who used to own Hammer. And it was just a very interesting time in life, but there's nothing that was more special to me than going out and seeing solid, constant 6 to 8 pound fish, all you wanted, and then every once in a while you get that 9 or 10. And we weighed all our stuff on Chatillon scales, and it was just a ball. It was the history, for me, it was the history of what's going on now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of guys that are in it right now that, when I was doing it, there was Rich Marcel. And there was
Rich Marcel's still around, right?
Yeah,
he's still alive.
He's still alive, but and then came from Rich Marcel came Parasini, and Turner was there, and there was another guy named Larry, and I can't think of his last name, but the things that what used to happen is we would see no one. There would be no one there. Imagine turning around the corner and you're like, there's not one boat in sight. And I'm going, okay, we'll start up here. And we're going, we had milk runs. Then when we got over the Newport thing after a couple years, we started exploring Laguna. That was crazy times.
Oh, I can only imagine. That coastline right there is incredible. There's so many boilers and like little
nutty.
cutaways and like the coolest stuff in there.
Yeah. Stokes and I were on the water. We were fishing Big Corona when the guy caught the world record, the 14.9 on a mackerel. And we could hear him screaming and yelling, and he caught it on a Shimano spinning reel. The one that you clip in and it goes into free spool automatically, and you clip it back up and it'll go into gear. He caught one on that. We couldn't figure out what all the noise was about. And we saw that fish. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah, it's right below the harbor, right?
Yeah.
Actually, like right where that swim beach is, right?
Yeah, it was where the swim beach was. Because what people don't see is a lot of guys look at what's on the beach. But that was the one thing that I learned from Greg a long time ago, is because we fished Casitas and Castaic. We learned we had paper graphs. So I had paper graphs in the saltwater, and the paper graphs were never lied. I could tell where the fish were. I could tell where that.
So you could see the bathymetry and the topography
exactly.
of what was there.
You could start marking stuff, and back then it was Loran, but I didn't have a Loran, so we did everything that we were doing by sight. So we'd look at the beach, we'd look and try to find up 2 places to line up, and we had all our spots lining up like that. And it was that was some of the best times in my entire life, was just being able to fish with my friend, and for years fish out there and do that. And actually Pfeiffer joined us after a while, and he was fishing with us, and then went from Worm King. I started hanging out with Barry, not Barry, but it was the guy. It was Brown, and he owned Fish Traps. And then that's where Fish Traps came from.
Okay, so Barry acquired it from him.
Yeah.
Wow, so many more details that I want to pull out of that freaking spout right there. That's awesome.
Sorry if I went over, but
No,
I'm just stoked to be alive.
No,
I mean,
please, let's just keep going on that, because that after AFCO, you ended up at Shimano.
Yeah, I went to Shimano. I worked there for a few years, and I was a marketing manager for reels at Shimano. And at that point in time, that's when I started branching. That's when Calico Bass, we won the Calico Classic, and I sort of started getting away from the Calico Bass deal, because it was just, there was 5 people, and now there was 55 people on the beach, right?
Yeah.
And still no one was going to the islands, pretty much. And what got me and Stoats interested in the islands is Milt Shedd owned a boat called the SeaWorld, a 67-foot boat. And what he did is he would let us put our skiffs behind the boat, and he'd tow our skiffs to Clemente. And I'd jump in the back of my skiff and take off at Clemente with a full tank of gas, and I'd go catch Spanish mackerels. And I would fish some twin tails, but the Spanish mackerel thing was crazy. And I'd go off and, fish all around the island doing that. And I am telling you, I can't even believe how many fish we caught doing that. No one was there. And they ate those Spanish mackerels like candy. It was amazing. It was really fun times.
Isn't it wild, like, how big of a bait a calico bass will eat?
Yeah, and people don't understand that, but also a largemouth would do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
A largemouth will eat a hud that's, you got a 10-inch hud, and you're slow winding a hud, and you catch a 2-pound fish on it. You're going, the bait is as long as that. Calicos do it all the time, like you're saying.
Just ferocious.
Yeah.
So, from AFCO to Shimano, what was going on in your fishing deal then? Like you said, you got away from the calico thing. Were you just evolving from? Because I know you probably fished everything that swam while you were still freaked out on calico, but that was your focus. But so the focus came away from calico bass fishing, and what was going on with you during that era?
My life has been a dream. So I got to fish with, Stoatsbury was the base of my foundation of becoming a really good angler. He was good. He was naturally good. His dad taught both of us. My dad had a little bit to do with it. We just spent all this time fishing, but we were driven. Get up at 3 o'clock, go home at 7 p.m., right? So we caught marlin. I gotta preface this though, is that when we were catching all the calicos, we had the worst summers in the history of California. There was years where we would catch a couple yellowtail, and you know what we were fishing all the time? Mako sharks. We didn't even start fishing threshers for a few years past that, but it's like,
But that was the fishery at the time.
yeah, that was the fishery and the mako sharks, and we were really into conservation, so AFCO really put a foot forward to go try and help get the gill nets out of the inner waters, and that saved that mako fishery and the thresher fishery, and it grew after that. That's when you saw Mako My Day and the thresher shark tournaments and all this other stuff. But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that when we were calico bass fishing, there was nothing else to do. We were spending that time, and remember, we were doing it every afternoon. And at night, especially in the summer, we'd get out there at 4 o'clock. We'd fish to 9 o'clock at night. I was in the boat with Pfeiffer one time, and Pfeiffer caught a 13 and 11 while I was trying to go through and fix a leak in the back of my boat. I almost killed him. I was just he's
what?
like, hey, come over here. And we didn't use nets. So when he's yelling at me, I'm running over there to grab. The big deal back then is when we grabbed those fish, if we had these big circles on our hands, we were catching big fish. And I'll never forget that night with him doing that. And we were weighing it, okay, again, it was on the water, so I can't tell you it was exactly how big, but it was way over 13, and he had one way over 11. So I gave him an 11 and a 13. We can give him a 12 and a 10, whatever you want. They were way over 10 pounds. They were really nice fish. But the thing about it is we were fishing baits, like you were just saying. You can't even get the baits we were fishing. I should have brought some to show you. We were fishing dinosaurs, 9-inch dinosaurs, and the fish would just mow on them. And it was really cool because what would happen is, and it's like, I wrote some articles recently in Western Outdoor News and tried to pass on some of the tips, but one of the biggest tips I did with my friends is for Christmas, I'd give them a tide book. So we'd go through and do the tide, like we'd go, okay, let's look at this month, and we're gonna fish this day, this day, this day, because we would always try to fish incoming tide to a high at night. So the gray light in the morning or the gray light at night was always the best what was going on. And the biggest fish that we ever caught were in those time frames, because with incoming tides, you have flooding water. The fish are going in, and they're going in and scavenging in that flooding water. There's 2 different types of fish you're looking at. At that point, all I was fishing was rockfish. So what do they eat? They eat crustaceans. So people would go, you can grab these fish and they don't hurt. And then you go and catch a fish out in the kelp and grab it and he'd just take you out, right? But I learned so much throughout those years about the fish and how hardy they were. And then at one point, I got hooked up with Al Kalin. And Al Kalin made
Kalin's grubs, right?
Kalin grubs,
Okay.
but he also made swim baits. And I helped him design a couple swim baits. And I kept on begging him. I said, please, Al, let's figure out a way that we can tag these fish. Well, we were already doing Tag a Tuna for Tomorrow at AFCO. So I called Floyd Tags and had him send me 1,000 tags. So by getting me 1,000 tags, what I did is I got just a regular gun that you would you'd put a tag on a shirt. Mm-hmm. I was using it and put it through the dorsal fin of the calicos and then pull it out. And I tagged 450 calicos. And what I was trying to figure out is, are they resident fish? And what I figured out through that whole deal is what we did is for every fish that was caught, because people killed them to eat, we would send them a lure pack if they sent back where they caught it. And we figured out that all the fish that I was catching, they lived where they were caught. But there was there was so much history. It's just crazy to think about all the stuff.
I know, it's important to know all of it. There's so much more I want to hear. Anything you can fucking think of, just spit it out, bro. Give me more.
Yeah.
Give everybody more. People, I'm surprised the phone hasn't exploded yet with just fucking questions probably, or people are probably befuddled right now.
No, there's the back in the day, there was just 2 or 3 guys, and we were all bros, and we all hung out, and there was no animosity, and there was really no competition. There was competition between the Oceanside dudes, which was, Rich Marcel and Kenny Snyder and those guys, and us, because I didn't like to see those guys coming down and fishing our grounds. So it was almost like localism with surfing. Hey, bro, what are you doing here? It's like, get out of here. But it was cool because we all got along and we shared a passion, but the passion that we started was to, slow to grow, let them go. So we started Calico Conservation Club, which, I still have stickers for and stuff, but it's something that you guys already do.
Yeah.
Everybody's letting fish go, taking good care of them.
But that was because you guys made that our culture.
Yeah,
Literally, people don't know that, but that was already the culture. When we came into it, doing it, that was the culture because you guys started it. Literally, that's because you guys started it.
No, and it was, to me, I think one of the funnest things about all that stuff was when we fished the first Calico Classic, like I swear to you guys.
Who put those on? Was that the Western Outdoor News thing?
No, it was Western Outdoor News had a competitive one. This was Pacific Coast Sport Fishing magazine.
Okay.
Harvey Honeycutt ran them, and what ended up happening is the first one that we fished in, I fished every day for months, right? So I knew where these fish were and I could follow them. And it's no different. Like, the thing I can tell you is if you're a calico bass fisherman and you think you're good, and I'm not being an asshole, I'm just being honest, go fish in a freshwater bass tournament.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Like, talk to Jerry Mayhew.
Yeah.
All right? The guy wins a check every week, right? But the reason I'm saying this is that you learn how to follow fish. I fished in freshwater tournaments before I fished in saltwater tournaments. So you learn how to follow fish. You become one with what you're doing all the time. You can look at things and go, and I've been having a conversation with Gary about it, and he's just like, I go, you're going to get to a spot where you look at something, and because all the experience that you have in your head, you'll be able to catch fish on that, because you'll go, A plus B plus C equals, boom, and there you go, you got fish. So that was really a cool thing. But when we fished in that first tournament, we had 17 and change the first day. We were in 9th place. And at that point, people would look at me and Stoats and Pfeiffer, and they'd go, these are the dudes, and we're kicking their rear ends. The second day, we came into them, and I knew this spot, and I didn't know what was going on, but the fish.
Was this on the beach?
Yeah, this was everything I'm talking about is on the beach.
Okay.
There was no
island.
You couldn't go to the islands then.
Yeah.
So we got into this one place and put away 3708 and walked in and took that tournament with 55 pounds or whatever it was. And the best thing was watching those idiots that were talking crap about us the first day and walking in. They saw one guy walk in with one bag with 3 fish, and I walked in with another bag with a fish about 9 pounds and one about 8 pounds. And it was the best period time of my life, except for maybe catching a swordfish, just watching everybody's face go, oh shit, I jumped off that stage, woohoo, what's up, how's it going? I was everybody's favorite person, but you know what, I love to fish and I have no problem helping people do it, but a lot of these guys were way too competitive for my taste.
Yeah, you know, I myself, I really enjoyed, I think the first like 6 or 7 years of fishing tournaments. There was that whole parking lot camaraderie. It was like, it was like hanging out in the parking lot after a skate session or on the beach smoking a joint after a surf session.
Exactly.
It was the same deal. And then it got to the point where, you know, just egos and that competitiveness and that me selfishness kind of like.
But it comes out.
Yeah, it made it a little dark. And then I'm not even pointing fingers at anybody. Just in general, that vibe was there, you know, and it took it away from me, and I felt like I just needed a little bit more soul style of it.
You know what you're talking about right now, Justin, is what we should be living.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, like we had all these bluefins we had this last year. You know, I mean, I was a pig at the beginning of it, but at the end of it, I was watching, I was conserving. I'd catch one big one, and I'd throw it in the boat and split. You know, and the guys that were catching multiples and stuff. I can't go through and condemn anybody because I did it, but it's like for me to write my own rules. I was living by my own rules, and it was a good deal. It turned out to be a great year, and it's the same thing. It's like I got this weird thing where people will go to a restaurant and they go, they have great swordfish, I won't eat it. And they go, well, why not? I go, only eat raw swordfish that I catch. So I've been lucky. I've caught a couple swordfish. I've eaten swordfish a few times in my life, but I don't go out to a restaurant. That's just something I got in me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And whatever you catch, you should be eaten. You should take care of it.
Yeah, for sure. You don't waste anything. It's funny though. You say that about swordfish. I feel the same way, like after however many years of just being so focused on fishing and things like that, just having it be basically my entire life, you get to the point where like you see a sign that says fresh fish and it just makes me feel sick.
No, but you know what you're saying?
Makes me feel sick.
So you're in a restaurant and you smell the fish and you look over to your wife and you go, no, we're not eating fish.
Exactly.
Because last year, you know, you're catching all this tuna and you got it right on your nose and it's so fresh and you go, can you smell it? And they go, no. I'm like, that's what it's all about.
That's fresh fish.
But that's what life's about. I mean, if we could teach the young kids what we learned throughout time and they can start adopting it early, there's a lot of cool things to be had.
I believe in that 100%. I feel like I'm kind of carrying the torch with that, trying to get involved as much as I can with, you know, the future generation or the now generation of kids that are fishing calico bass and fishing all that stuff, but giving it that kind of soul flavor, you know, not the competitiveness, kill, meat monger deal, just you know, like this is fun if you guys want to be doing this in the future and have your kids doing it and have
Yeah.
this thing freaking be, you know, a legacy, then
Yeah.
there's certain measures we have to take, not to be like a fucking tree hugger, you know, but
No.
like realistically, there's gotta be balance.
No, it's practice what you preach. That's
Yeah.
what I like about working at Accurate is that we practice what we preach. We go out, we catch a couple, we let a couple go. We do whatever, you know, we're not filling the boat with stuff. But
Yeah.
the other thing that we're trying to do just at work too is the same thing that I believe in, is to promote fishing to the good of all people, because fishing is a way to go outdoors. You can have your family. My daughters fish with me all the time. When they're around, they'll fish with their dad. They wake me up to make me take them fishing.
Do you hear that, Ohio? Do you hear that? That's my daughter.
Yeah.
She likes
how
fishing,
cool
but-
how cool is that, Ohio? You need to do that with your dad. That's the one thing that through your life, Ohio, that you can share with your dad. And when it comes a time and Pop's not around, you never forget that stuff. Because I remember all the fishing trips that I went on with my dad. Never forget them.
Like it was
They were
yesterday,
awesome.
huh?
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah. So you fish with your daughters, and how often are you guys fishing together? How often are you fishing these days? Period.
I fish twice a week.
Okay, that's a lot.
And I just keep I just keep away from everybody. I try to.
Yeah.
I got a guy that I fish with a lot, Alex, who has loose lips. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But he likes to be friends to everybody and tell things. Alex, you know this is true.
Yeah.
So I like, because he promotes fishing all the time. He's got a barber shop in Dana Point. He's promoting fishing all the time to everybody that sits in the chair. To me, that's what all of us have to do. What I see all the time is it's a big secret. You can't tell them, but let's fish it over here. You can't do it. Some of the guys that are making their living fishing, I won't open my mouth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't say a word about what they're doing. If they give me some dope and I go out and do it, I won't do it, because that's their livelihood.
Yeah.
You should keep it. If they're showing confidence in you, you should keep that confidence.
Absolutely.
But I love to fish for anything, honestly. I'm getting ready to go to Guatemala to go sail fishing with Sport Fishing Magazine, and I get home. I'm home for a couple weeks. I'm taking the twins to Panama to go fish in Panama. We're fishing Cuevas Island, and then to get home from Panama, I'm taking Dave Marciano over to back to the island. What's it called? Cedros.
Cedros.
Yeah, because we had a good time doing that last time. But I like to go to Cedros and fish because it's fun. I like to have fun. I don't want to be in a battle.
Yeah.
Those big tunas, they killed this old man. I was hurt.
They put a hurt on you, huh?
Oh yeah, I tore my shoulder on one of the last ones that I was doing battle with, and the respect is amazing. I had surgery like 4 months ago, and I'm still trying to get back on the horse.
Gnarly.
So, but I mean, fishing through life through fishing. Chris O'Rourke one time wrote on Surfing Magazine wall, "Surfing through life through surfing." It's the same way with fishing.
Yep.
If you're core and you're going to stay with it, you need to put back into it what you're taking out of it. And that's what you guys are doing. I think I'm stoked on that whole thing you guys are doing. It's a cool thing, because you know what fishing is? It's a nugget in your chest that's always moving around. And it's like this big ball of energy that says, oh, I'm so stoked. And sometimes you go fishing, you don't catch anything, and you're riding back in the sunset, and you go, I didn't catch anything, but this is cool.
Yep. Yeah.
I did it the other morning. I put a little post up in there going, well, why'd you put that post up? I'm like, dude, the sun was coming up. I knew I was going to go smack a couple, and I was stoked.
Yeah. It's funny, you know, like, I think that a majority of people that love fishing, you know, in the outdoors, they really do appreciate those moments. But I hope that more and more people understand that it really isn't about catching, is it? It's just like
No.
about being out there, right?
No, it's
And
the experience.
Right?
That's what it is. It's an experience that, you know, like I got some good friends. Benny Florentino's a good friend, right? He goes out and his job is to catch a fish. But if you're smart, you'll have an experience with Benny that will be awesome.
Absolutely.
Jimmy Decker's the same way.
Absolutely.
Jimmy Decker's just an all-around good gem of a guy. And just, it's all about, if you're going to spend money, don't think you're spending money to go buy fish off of a boat because you're going
No.
to catch it. You're going to learn how to fish, and you're also going to go over and have this fantastic deal. But what we talked about earlier was experiences. Every single day, there's an experience. If you pay attention and put it in your mind, those are the days that will help you catch fish in the future.
Yeah.
For sure.
100%. You start recognizing things like, oh, I've seen condition at this spot before, and this is where they were, or this is what they were doing, and like you said, try and repeat that in places you go. But Man, fishing with guys like Benny and Jimmy, that shit is so fun.
Yeah, no.
You're basically laughing the entire day, and if you catch fish, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Like, those are the days, like, I don't get to fish with those guys as much. I don't get to fish with Randy. I don't get to fish with my friends as much as I used to at all. I don't know why. It's just obviously life.
It's life.
But I mean, I live through those moments still to this day. And while I'm fishing with clients or like just new friends, whatever, I'm constantly replaying things that I've been through with them and telling them stories about things that I've done, because it's like, fuck, I just want to share that stoke, right? Because that's why I'm still out there. It's because of those things that we did in the past that got me to where I am now.
But you're passing on. What you're passing on is you're giving a legacy. Like, we all have a legacy, no matter how you want to look at it. My legacy's going to my girls, right? My son's a great guy. He just don't like to fish that much. He'll go fishing, marlin fishing with me. He likes catching marlin here and there, but the girls will catch anything. I got in a bluefin bite with Summer where we kept on hooking these big fish, and I'd hand her a fish, and she'd wind on it for half an hour and hand it back to me, and I have to finish it. At the end of the day, I thought I was going to die, but it was a pleasure just to have her on the boat, and she could not finish them. But I'm sorry, Summer, that I said that, but it is the truth, baby. You know that. But I think that with fishing, people don't understand that fishing is a puzzle. And if you have a mind that can do a Rubik's Cube, fishing's a Rubik's Cube, because depending on what type of fishing you're doing, I mean, you got bait, you got current, you got tides, you got lunar phase, and you got water temp. You got 5 really gnarly things always moving around. No matter if it's marlin fishing, bass fishing, fishing for tuna, you got to find breaks, you got to find where the bait is, you got to figure what's going on. I couldn't believe how gnarly the lunar would affect those bluefins. It was crazy, and I was talking to some really good guys. I talked to Dwayne down there, or Trumpus, and listen. What I don't really talk, I listen, and it's really key. What I'm telling you is, like, it's a cool thing for everybody out there. It's cool if you got something to say, but if you're around someone that really knows what's going on, the best thing to do is open your ears and listen. When you're spoken to, speak. But if you get to listen and you get a whole bunch of good stuff, you're stoked.
Yeah, absorb it.
Yeah.
It's really incredible for me to think about how talented Dwayne Miller is, and how much he's grown as a person and a fisherman in the last decade of knowing that guy. He's so good at what he's doing.
He is a stud.
I
I fished the big ones with him last year, and I was fortunate to be on the boat for a 265. And
that's a big fucking fish anywhere on the planet.
The guy, what's cool about the guy is I'm used to deckhanding. I deckhand on skiffs or boats or whatever. I never had to say a word. That guy he's a dance. He can be your partner dancing any day of the week. He's got the boat exactly where it needs to go. And I would turn to say something after watching what was going on. I'd turn to say something, and he'd already be there. The fish kept on wanting to go uphill, and Dwayne would cut him off, change the pressure of angle, and the fish would turn back. And I learned so much a couple days fishing with Dwayne that, we got out and caught some other ones. It was like, those fish some are real tough, some are not real tough. But Dwayne and I had one for a customer of his that was really tough.
Yeah, what's crazy is you say that. There were some fish last year that were like, dude, this thing has like a demonic spirit.
Oh yeah.
Like, it doesn't want to die. It's going to kill someone on this boat.
No.
Like, it's not coming to the boat. There was a couple times I went through that too.
Yeah.
How wonderful was it to see those spots of fish last year up on the surface?
So one of the best days that I had, I didn't even catch anything, and I went by Pete Grossbeck, and it was like I saw Pete and I saw Barry was on the deck, and they were flying a kite, and they were 4 miles off of Torrey Pines. And someone else had called me in, and he said the sparrows are in here and they're knocking them out. And I was like, really? So what size fish? And he goes, you'll be surprised. So I went in there, and I was with my friend Mike Murciano from Nixon, and we're and we're cruising through this inside. The shiners, what we call them, are shiners, right?
I know
What they are is they're 100, almost 300-pound fish. Oh yeah, they're not 300. Oh, they're damn close to 300. And they were shining, swimming along the surface, and you could see them, and you could make them out. They wanted nothing. No popper, no surface iron, no live mackerel, no nothing. But we stayed in there and just sat and watched them, and it was so amazing that's where you really learn what those fish do. How they turn and how they travel in groups and stuff. And I'm still trying to figure out were they mating? What were they doing?
I know. I was just about to ask you what were they doing, because
I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, me neither. We saw fish like that when they were just outside the Coronados, like in May or whatever last year, and yeah, we were just saying, like, look at them shining. You could just see, like, football fields and football fields and football fields of those big fish. And like you said, nothing. Nothing. I know one person that, like, fly lined a fucking live squid, like, you know, half a mile behind the boat and got one to eat. And that was all I heard of those fish being caught last year. But, yeah, I was going to ask you what you thought.
No, I'm telling you, the thing that was amazing was we flew kites a lot in Puerto Vallarta over the years. And just listening and watching to a few guys that I respect, they were talking about kite flying. And once we got the kites up, that's when we really started putting the hurt on them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and people, I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to fly a kite, because then again, I'm sitting there taking money off some of my buddies' you know, tables. But if you understand that presentation, no matter if it's a bass, largemouth, a calico, a yellow, whatever it is, presentation a lot of times is all about making the fish react. So flying a yummy is a visual bite. He comes up, blasts it, right? It's not, oh, it's got to be a blue one. It's got to be a pink one. It's got to be, he doesn't care.
Yeah, no.
And surface iron, Dan Wade, one of the best surface iron guys I know. Does he grab colors? No, he doesn't grab. And I'm sorry, Randy, because you're selling kicker jigs, but if you got a kicker jig that works, it ain't gonna have no paint on it.
Yeah.
There will be no paint on it because they're gonna eat it just because of the action of the lure. It's just that's a really key ingredient. It's about how baits swim. Like I know Gary's got some weedless baits that I use, and he made me a special color. He has two colors, and I'm not telling you guys what they are. But one of them, I swear to God, I just crash them on the beach, weedless on the beach, and they eat it all day long. And one of my buddies is trying to fish surface iron, and he's trying to fish his waxwing, and I'm just like cracking up going, hey, how is that over there, bro? You know, it's fun. It's all about having confidence, but knowing that if you can get a fish to react, and don't get me wrong, there's going to be a time when color, speed, cadence, all these things come into play where you got to figure out what the fish want. But when you get those days where they don't care, take advantage of it, man, because that is some fun stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is so fun. I always say, you know, whenever I have a chance to talk to anybody about fishing, I always tell them, you know, colors catch fishermen, confidence catches fish.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes the color gives you the confidence, or the kick of the lure gives you the confidence, or whatever the fuck it is. This guy gave me this and said do this and it works.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, that confidence is what gets you bit, right?
No, and what's funny is I remember when Afrin came on the scene with war baits. There was heads like that before.
Of course. That
right?
was nothing new.
But what Afrin did was he figured out how to make a head with a different shape, and he colored them so they'd go to all these baits. I'm telling you, warheads, they're off the hook. They've got their place with me, definitely in the kelp. The stuff works really well, but it's, again, could use a silver. Like, I remember these guys teasing me a year ago when I was using my regular silver heads, and they were going, oh, gee, look at that, oh,
yeah, like
gee.
a triangle lead head?
Yeah, and I was just cracking up because it was a Leadmaster lead head, and it still caught fish.
Yeah.
You know, eyeballs are important, and I mean, Pete's got great stuff over there at Hammer. He's got stuff that works really good too, but you know, it's just, if you got it, try it. Give it a whirl.
Yeah, I mean, you don't always need a weed guard in a certain shape. It's funny, Dan Thorburn from Shimano, I fished with him last Saturday at Catalina, and he had like a half ounce just shad lead head on a swim bait, and it was like, right on, Dan. Like, awesome. You know, and
you're looking at it going, a half ounce? What are you doing? And because of the fall rate on that half ounce,
he was torching.
And so I got a great story for you. So I have fished, I'm a swim bait dude forever. I know all the swim baits. I love swim baits, right? Mm-hmm. So this guy gave me some hookup baits. Mm-hmm. They're tube jigs, right?
Okay. Yeah.
From yesteryear. But he put a little like turn on them. So they don't swim like a tube jig. They swim in a circle. So Kaylee fished with me on my birthday a couple weeks ago.
One of your daughters.
Right.
Okay.
And I take her down the beach to a spot that's been biting. She puts 7 fish on the boat, and I sit there and watch her with this tube jig. And I did not believe in this tube jig at all. And the whole thing about it was, don't be so close-minded, and don't be too old to learn, because I learned a lot. I called the guy, and I didn't want to call him, and I was like, can I buy some of those baits, please? And he's just like, really? And they go, oh yeah, I just got schooled by my 24-year-old daughter. She just took me home. So it was pretty crazy. But I mean, every day I learned something. And
you have to, right?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. People reading conditions. Like it's if you're calico bass fishing, like I was fishing last week, and no names mentioned, but I was sitting downwind of these guys, down current, downwind, and I was watching these birds, and they're sitting on the water, but they're sitting on an edge of a big kelp, and the current was going into the edge. The wind, it was a windward side, and everybody was stopping on the wrong side of it. I went around the other side, and I mean, fishing's good right now. I mean, I ended up catching like 20 fish in an hour over there. And I was just watching it because people don't know how to read the conditions. Do you see that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first thing that people ask when they come and fish with me is like, what is condition? Literally, like more than any question ever asked, or like, what does that bait do, or what's the best time to fish this? Is like, what's this condition that people are talking about? Well, it can be a variety of things.
Yeah, no.
Right, but it's basically like the recipe or the dynamic of all the elements, what's going on, and figuring out, okay, what's happening? What things are coinciding that are going to make these fish bite, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, there's 5 things that you listed that really affect what's happening in that bite. But
So, calico bass fishing without current, you might as well go home and play field hockey or
it's just
something.
like,
You know, it's
yeah,
like
it's
it
an
ain't gonna
aquarium.
happen.
It's an aquarium.
You know, but when that current goes, and it's weird, people go, well, it always goes downhill. I'm like, dude, last week it was going towards the beach. And each spot sometimes can have current traveling in a different area.
Oh, within 200 yards.
Right, and then you go to another spot and there's no current. So it's super important that I see is to be able to read the conditions. And a lot of times people will go, oh, water temperature. Nah, right now, water temperature, they're biting. And they're getting ready right now to spawn. And people go, they're going to spawn in April. They spawn for like 3 or 4 months. There's different groups of fish. There's no different largemouth bass.
Yep.
There's constant groups always doing that deal. So, I mean, it's getting to be a point right now, if you guys aren't fishing, get ready. Get out there and go fishing.
There's a full moon on the 10th, right?
Yeah.
What's today, the 6th?
Yeah.
But I know it's going to blow this weekend, which is kind of a bummer. Can I ask a favor, Randy? Yeah. Do you have water? I feel like I ate a piece of ass.
It wasn't mine.
Yeah. So, and I'm not going to sit on this anymore either. I'm just going to be real high maintenance right now and just kind of rearrange my
No,
entire existence.
it sort of hurts. That's how I agree with you.
I was like, I don't know, this is kind of bad for my back. So, your local fishing, it's been good to you lately.
Yeah, no, it's real fun. And, you know, I don't have the time, like I'm fishing 4-hour periods or 5-hour periods because I got to a point where I want to enjoy my family still.
Oh, of
you
course.
I spent a lot of my younger years traveling and fishing, and I mean, I left my family behind, right? So I get out there, I do what I can do, and right now it's been pretty fun, really fun.
Well, the good thing is you have daughters that want to fish. Does your wife fish with you at all?
Oh, my wife, yeah, and my daughters will be embarrassed, but I'll tell you, my first daughter was conceived in Cairns at Ribbon Reef number 4. My second daughter was conceived in St. Thomas on the St. Thomas tournament. So, I mean, yeah, my wife fished with me extensively all over the world. She spent a lot of time, and she loved it. When I met her, she loved to fish yellowtail, so she'd go down to Loretto and fish yellowtail all the time with her friends. And,
You met her on sport?
well, I met her on the Royal Polaris.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I met her on the Royal Polaris and the
I don't know if you could do that these days.
no, the deckhand was Rollo Hine. He was one of my best buds for the longest of times. Good guy, period.
Mm-hmm. So, we've kind of covered not even half of what I wanted to get to, but so AFCO, then Shimano, and now
Accurate.
you're at Accurate.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about what's going on there and why Accurate's so cool, and anything you have planned for in the near future.
What's going on at Accurate right now that's super cool is that it was probably maybe 6 or 7 years ago that the twins and I sort of adopted this thing, small reels, big fish. And that was with the explosion of braided lines. We had been fishing small reels for the last 10, 12 years maybe with braided line. And we just brought out a line of reels called the Valiants. And we made a very small reel that was extremely powerful with the 300. We backed it up with the 400. Now we got a 500, a 500 narrow. And what we're trying to do is, I'm not going to say we're trying to rewrite the books in a sense, but what we're trying to do is make your fishing a more pleasurable experience. And the reels are lighter, they got plenty of torque, they got plenty of drag, more drag, a lot of them than you can hold on to. But the most important thing, it's not only the reel, it's picking the right rods to go with the reels. Because with braid doesn't stretch. And if you're using your fluoro right, in my words, you're not going to use a piece of fluoro bigger than the fish that you catch, right? The top shots that guys use, that's great. But to me, you can take a rod and get a more parabolic rod, quick tip, slower, more forgiving back, and you can catch really big fish. And it's all about, forget the pump, finding a nice comfortable place to put your hand and just winding through the rod. When the rod comes up, wind back down. So at Accurate, what we're doing is we're trying to see the new rods that are being made and put these reels on these rods. So we got Seeker and CalStar, and there's a cool new rod out called iRods by our friend Matt Newman. Cousins has rods. There's a bunch of really cool rods, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if you're gonna go and you're gonna catch fish that pull, the stiffer the rod, the less you're gonna enjoy your whole day.
Yeah, you're gonna break your back.
You're gonna get hurt. So what you want to do is you want to fish a rod that's more forgiving, and don't be worried if it bends. It's just be worried if it bends too much. Yeah. So there is a place where you want this. There's a medium spot in this whole thing, and that's where you want to be. But you know, if you see me somewhere, if you want to ask me a question, I'll answer any question. I'll tell you what I'm using. But we're using these iRods, and these iRods, some of the ones that we're using with the smaller reels, they got lots and lots of power. I caught a fish almost 100 pounds on a 400 last year on one of these iRods, and I swear to God, I sat down and I thought I was going to die afterwards. But that's because I'm old.
Right. But that pairing that you're talking about and matching your tackle and building a system to fight these fish and catch these fish is important. It's funny, the first time I ever fished with Barry was on a inside sport fishing trip with Shimano. They were doing one of those dealer things, and we were at Cat for like 3 days.
Right.
And Barry was talking about that. You know, he was like, he couldn't shut up about how he wanted a faster action and more bend in the rod for fishing these yellows.
Yeah.
Because of the stuff that he was doing down in Mexico with mackerel and all this stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and sea bass. But it's funny that, you know, that was like almost a decade ago and he was talking about that.
Yeah, no, and the guys that are in know, they're going to be the ones talking about it. You know how you realize it? You get your rear end kicked once and you try to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Decker's the same way. He calls him the buggy whip.
Yeah.
Jimmy Decker, buggy whip. Lots of hearts.
Yeah.
What time is it?
8 minutes.
Fuck, that's not enough time. We got so much more to talk about.
No, there's plenty more to talk about.
You'll come
for
back
sure.
again, won't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I love it. I love passing it on. You know, if you guys see me anywhere and you want to ask a question, I'm always there for it too. Any of the shows, whatever.
Oh.
Call Accurate.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that, but now's the perfect time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly. We're not an infomercial here, and no one's paying us to say shit. We're actually paying to do this. But Ben was kind enough to go and have these produced with Michael, reproduced from VHS onto DVD, so that guys like myself and Randy and anybody else out there that wants to kind of take a look back at the beginning days of inshore calico bass fishing and the early techniques. And there's things that these guys are doing however many fucking years ago it was, 20 plus years ago, that you still haven't done yet and will be doing in the future and might never do because you never knew how fucking cool it was or that it existed. It's all here in this video. How can we get these guys copies of this?
Okay, so you guys can send me emails. Actually, the best thing is to reach out to me on Facebook and message me on Facebook. A lot of guys have been doing that, and I can go through and get over all that situated there. But this took a lot of time for me and Greg, and especially for Michael. But the first thing about that taught me confidence, is to make that thing. And a lot of times I look at people and say, hey, I gave away the book and we ruined fishing. I don't think we did. All we did was teach people how to do it better. And I think all of us should be thinking that way. You know, how can we prolong the sport? And the best thing is to, if you're not handing it off to your kids, hand it off to people around you that want to learn. Like there's guys that I know that they're terrible anglers, but man, they love to go. I'll teach them anything I can. But it's, you know, it is what it is.
No,
but
I
you
agree.
guys, because of you guys, this is there. Because you guys started that thing with Benny. Benny brought it up. That was really cool.
Benny said he has the Betamax.
Yeah.
Right?
But the whole thing of this is that this isn't like some money-making deal. We're just breaking even on this whole deal. We're passing on the torch to you guys.
Yeah, it's like when I grew up, we had Encyclopedia Britannica and like microfiche in the media center.
Oh, jeez.
You know, microfiche. Now you have the fucking internet and guys that can produce things like this and make it available for you, so you don't have to go like dumpster diving or go to secondhand stores to try and find a fucking calico bass video from 20 plus years ago. It's here, so please reach out because
There's only about 80 of them, so get on it.
yeah, and I don't see this being something that's just going to keep going. Like if you don't get it, you're missing out, you know. So get it while it's there, because this is kind of a piece of the puzzle here. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's a little chip in the history books that you're missing something in the history book. There's a page missing if you don't see this or know about it or put your hands on it. How are we looking on time, Randy? 5 minutes? Okay, so are you going to be down at Day at the Docks?
No, I won't be at Day of the Docks. Unfortunately, I am going to go fishing this weekend, and you're not going to stop me. And
Yeah.
There's no way.
Okay, so
But you can call me at Accurate anytime. You can talk to me at Accurate. I can answer your questions about reels, about rods, whatever you want. I'm always floating around. If you see me on the water, come up. Just if I'm fighting a fish, don't go on the other side of the boat. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. But whatever. I'm open to it. I'm just trying to help. And the most thing I can tell all you guys is, go fishing to have fun. It's not a war. This isn't a giant competition, and I'm just being what I feel in my heart. I'm just like him. It took me years to be able to understand. He's understanding this way before I did. Fish for the feeling, fish for the experience, and just be stoked to be alive. If you got kids that want to fish, take them fishing.
yep, and be cool.
Yeah.
To anyone, if you're on the water or not on the water, right? And there's another thing too. When in doubt, sign out. That goes to the people who make shitty comments on fucking social media. If you're thinking, if you have to contemplate, should I say this or not? Are people going to be bummed out, or am I going to be the funniest fucking dude on the internet for 4 seconds? When in doubt,
Sign out. I like it.
Get the fuck off the internet.
I'm into that one.
Put
Full
the
speed.
Fucking drink as many beers as you want, but sign the fuck out and keep your bullshit to yourself.
Keep the drama away.
Yeah, please. And that's saying it nicely, you know?
Yeah.
I've made my mistakes. We're all only human, but just take that to the fucking bank and cash that check.
Yeah.
When in doubt, sign out. How we looking on time there, Espaka? Speaking of signing out. 3 minutes. What else you got to say? Anything else?
You know what? Nowadays too, with a lot of guys are looking to get into fishing. No matter what it is, get a boat and get out there and float. And I'm telling you is go. If you need to buy a Valco or you need to buy a Gregor or whatever it is, just get yourself something to get on the water. There was one of my buddies, Mike Kish, just sold his tiller boat, which is an 18-foot tiller, and he sold it for like $3,000 to some guy. This guy fishes all the time. His name's Fred, and he loves it. And it makes me so happy because he takes his kid, and he's so stoked. He'll come up, Ben, what's up? I'm so stoked I'm alive. My kid's fishing with me. Just pass it on, but get on the water. Get your own boat if you want. Do whatever it takes to make sure you're stoked.
Yeah, exactly. Canoe, kayak, float tube, skiff, your friend's boat, your mom's boat, fucking whatever you can.
Gary Reyes' boat, he'll take you fishing.
Yeah, Gary, we got to get an SBI trip going with Gary soon. Right?
Yeah, stoked.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I'm so stoked.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
Benny. Because of you, Benny, this whole thing happened. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, is it counting down yet?
Yeah, I got a minute and 25 seconds.
Cool. Well, life's short. Just be cool to everybody you can. Avoid being a dick at all times, unless it's just in good fun.
Mike Lane says he wants a copy.
Well,
Oh yeah, Mike Lane wants a video.
Mike Lane, contact Ben.
Hey,
via
I don't
Facebook.
think you got my phone number, huh, Mr. Wow?
Yeah, exactly.
Matt Florentino said you found a VHS copy on the internet and you bought it.
Oh, really? But now he has to find a VHS player, a VCR, right? Dust it off and have it refurbished.
Hey, it might have mojo, dude. You never know.
Right?
Benny says shaka, Benny.
Yeah.
I'm saying thanks. We were pretty stoked.
Good.
So all we're
Thank you
trying to
guys.
do is pass it on.
Yep,
Somebody
that's
said
right.
the best hour you ever listened to.
Well, that's
Yeah.
nice. Thank you for saying that. We're stoked.
And it's cool. It kept it easy for me because he has good stories to tell and so full of information.
Right.
I was just like, huh? And then what? And then what? And then what? Keep talking to
That's
me.
why I just listen to them.
It's almost different watching Jack Soul talk because you can't get the guy to talk half the time.
Yeah.
Jack, I love you.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll get John Turner on here one day and just have him stare at the camera and just try
We
to
love
cry.
you too, John
I
Turner.
love you, John Turner. You'll never see this, but are we done? Are we done? Are we done? Are we counting down here? All right. Well, peace. Thanks for watching. I'll post this next Thursday along with Jimmy's episode. See you guys. Thanks a lot. Oh, it's all good. Right on. Thank you. Is it good?
Is this one mine?
That was right. I think so. Probably the full one.
I think I figured it on the picture.
Cool.
Oh, Ben, thanks so much, man.
Dude, that was awesome.
Shit, I was
There's a lot of information.
That's so cool. Like 370 people were watching that.
I know.
That's bigger than any seminar I've ever been to.
That's a big seminar there.
Think about that. 50 people in the stands is that's over 6 times that.
Yeah. When
7
this
times that.
this started, I did a seminar in front of the San Diego Fishing Club, Angling Club, whatever it is down there.
Yeah.
Like 2000 or 1998, there was 450 people.
That's awesome.
Damn.
And I brought one of those with your slides in it.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
But that was the biggest one. You should have heard me. I was like, I was doing seminars, but I wasn't really comfortable. I was like, shit, shit. And then all of a sudden I figured, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be me.
I'm just
like
gonna
I am.
be me. Fuck you. Here we go. And I started doing that, and that's what I do now. Like I'll walk in and people are going, aren't you nervous? Like, fuck, how can I be nervous?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about what I do
This
all
is
the
what
time.
I do.
I've been doing it my whole life.
Yeah.
I know what I'm into, so how could I fuck up?
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's cool, man.
And if you listen, you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
This is my phone's going off, dude.
Oh.
I went fishing. Me and Jay went fishing with them a month ago, and I just watched them.
Benny,
and just
good stuff,
fucking
boys.
soaked it up, you know.
Yeah. You have to.
It helped me when I went back there.
The whole point of why we're even doing this show is to like open the wormhole. Like,
Yeah.
look, motherfuckers, people were doing this way before any
Before
of the
it was-
bullshit you think was like
exactly.
way
You guys are still
before.
live.
What's that?
I guess you guys were still live.
Oh, it was like a
Because it
delay.
keeps kind of going. Yeah.
Yeah, it was delayed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, there's so many guests. Like when you know Brandon Hayward, you know I'm good friends with him and I
Yeah.
work with him, and he's just like, text me on a Saturday morning, not working, like, hey, I want to be on your show.
That's cool.
I'm like, yeah. You know, getting guys like that, like you said, guys that are fishing for a living, making money off secret stuff, wanted to come
Yeah,
out and
he
talk.
ain't gonna figure.
No,
he ain't gonna share the shit.
He's
I
not
know
gonna share
Brandon
the
for
shit.
a long
But
time.
you'll still
But
share.
you know what he's gonna come out and say? He's gonna entertain people. you
Oh,
know?
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
gonna entertain people, but it's cool because he cares
Yeah,
and he knows there's a value to it.
Yeah.
yeah.
No one's making money off the shit. It's not what it's about.
No, it's about passion. Like to me, like people say, you wear
It's a
your
passion.
yeah, you wear your heart on your sleeve. I do a lot when I talk about this because you get fucking stoked.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, and then I'll walk away and people are I'll do seminars and fuck, I want to talk to you some more. And you're like, 370 people? They must fucking for an hour watching us talk. They're fucking into it because
No,
you're into it
Yeah,
and I'm
people,
into it.
people are
right?
coming. This makes my Thursday night.
People
like
are
someone
into it.
saying that, and people
The
get
first, all that showed up to this one, I watched every one because I want to hear, see what they say. You know?
Yeah. And I'm up here like
Yeah.
a viewer too.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking like, okay, well, how am I gonna get what I want to know out of
Yeah.
this person?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And like, are they
Everyone
gonna
else wants to know
be? Are they gonna be able to share? Are they gonna want to share it?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.